What's going on there, YouTube, and welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over Ultimate Spider-Man by Jonathan Hickman, and we pick up with issue number 6. And this is Ultimate Spider-Man and the Green Goblin working together to fight against the Kingpin, except it does not go the way you actually think it would go. And you see what I mean as we go through today's video. Now, something we have to remember that when it comes to Peter Parker's family in this reality, the only person who truly knows about him being Spider-Man is his daughter, May. And that is really it. Mary Jane and his son Richard, they have no idea that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Well, until now, because you have Peter Parker coming back home but badly beaten, and they're kind of wondering, what in the world happened to you? This man got a black eye, guys. It's kind of like, okay, maybe he'll be able to play it off, until his daughter almost mentioned the idea of him being Spider-Man. And so that is the moment he realized that he has no choice but to go ahead and tell his wife and son that he is actually a superhero, that he is actually Spider-Man. And this begins the flashback. And so we jump to the previous night where we pick up with Peter Parker and Harry Osborn being Spider-Man and also the Green Goblin. Now, technically, these two guys are best friends. They know almost everything about each other, but now they're going to work together to bring down the Kingpin. You see, when it comes to the Green Goblin, Harry, he had learned from Bullseye that Kingpin technically works for somebody else. Now, we already know who that is. It's the Maker's Council. With the Maker being locked away right now inside his city, the Maker left the Council in charge of the entire world, and the Kingpin was left in charge of Manhattan, but he still has to answer to the Council. And so when it comes to the Green Goblin and also Spider-Man, their goal is to bring down the Kingpin as a way to get to the higher up, the Maker's Council. And so they gotta break into his home to basically bring him down. Now, for the Kingpin, he knew that Spider-Man and the Green Goblin were on their way. This man has cameras placed all over the city, and he knew that they were watching his building. He was just waiting for them to make the first move. And so when they did, when they broke into his home and confronted him, he said, perfect. It's now time for our showdown. And that is when they realized that this was a trap. This man placed a cage around them saying, no one is going to leave until one of us drops. Me? Are you guys. Now you would think, okay, it's Spider-Man the Green Goblin. They should be able to take him down very easily. Nope, the Kingpin got some upgrades. Apparently, some stuff was done to him to make him, extra strong than usual, to actually be a challenge for the Green Goblin and Spider-Man. And there is a point where you have the Green Goblin almost be killed off by the Kingpin, but Peter was able to jump back in to save his life. But then the Kingpin said, fine, if you want my attention, I will give you my attention. And then you have the Kingpin begin to beat down on Peter Parker. You're kind of like, man, the Kingpin is not playing around here. Now, luckily for the Green Goblin, his glider is able to basically explode a wall down to allow our heroes to escape. But the Kingpin was so close to be able to kill off Spider-Man and the Green Goblin by himself. And that shows that our young heroes are so unexperienced, they're not going to be able to take down guys like the Kingpin so easily. They have to be properly ready to take them down when the time comes. And so for the Kingpin, they gotta come back a later time, the right time, when they're actually ready to take him on. And so getting back over to the present day, we see that Peter Parker told that entire story over to his family. Now, when it comes to May, she already knew that he was Spider-Man, but now his son knows. Now his wife knows. And the question is, How is Mary Jane going to take this? Now, his son's kind of like, hey, you know what? I understand who you are, what you are, just please be safe. But Mary Jane, that's the big question right there, because that's his wife. He should have told her a while back. And so they go into the other room. And so we see Peter Parker and Mary Jane go into the other room. Really, it's their bedroom. Now, when it comes to Mary Jane, she tells Peter that she's not angry at all. She's one, confused about the idea of him being Spider-Man and how it all works. But two, she's also proud of him. The idea of him being a hero. And no matter what, she is always going to be by his side. It's great. She's being a very understanding person. Now, here's my problem though, because you also have Mary Jane say she is also concerned about the idea of the Kingpin possibly coming after her and the kids. But Peter tells her no matter what, they should be safe. Nobody should be coming after them to get to him. But the problem is the Kingpin said earlier, all the cameras in the city, they feed into his building. He's watching those cameras, which means sooner or later, the Kingpin might find out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man and Mary Jane is his wife, and Green Goblin's Harry Osborn and his wife is Gwen Stacy. Both women could possibly be targets now by the Kingpin. And really, the last page, we see Peter taking Mary Jane out into the city, showing her what it's like to swing around by webs across Manhattan. And I feel like one of those cameras is going to catch this moment right here. And when it does, there could be trouble down the road. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.